Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We will get started in a couple of moments. I'm just going to wait for a couple more of our attendees to join. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and welcome to our construction update meeting for the D-Line subway extension, where we will be covering today sections 1, 2, and 3. Next slide. My name is Robin Lopez, Principal Community Relations Officer at LA Metro, and I'll be going over some of our agency updates, as well as some housekeeping items. So we know your time is important, and once again, we would like to thank you for joining us today. We strongly encourage you to be an active participant in this meeting by using our Q&A feature that is listed on the screen and submitting any questions or comments that you may have. This meeting will also be recorded and posted on our project website, and it will also be distributed to our project email list. Next slide. And now I'd like to introduce our Facebook groups. So we do have a Facebook group for Metro Westside. You can join the conversation on the Westside City's Facebook group. Stay up to date with the latest construction information, community events, and project updates. You can join by visiting facebook.com/groups/Metro Westside, or by scanning the QR code that is listed on the screen. And I'll be sure to go ahead and include these links also in the chat in a moment. And now I would also like to mention LA County's Know Your Rights campaign. All immigrants, regardless of status, are entitled to basic rights and protections under the law. Listed are key support services available. You can please visit the link that is on the screen, oia.lacounty.gov. Next slide. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us. We do have a lot of great updates to share for all of our sections today, as well as some of our programs. And now I will pass it off to Ned Racine, Principal Community Relations Officer.
Thank you, Robin. My name is Ned Racine. I'm the Principal Community Relations Officer for Sections 1 and 3. Also with us today is Juan Slarillo, who is Community Relations Manager for all of the D-Line. Mindy Lake, who is the Principal Construction Relations Officer for the Beverly Hills piece of Section 1 and Section 2, and Sarah Canas, who is our Communications Assistant on the D-Line. Also with us are contractor representatives, Scott Donahue and Ross Pelser, and they're going to talk about their individual sections. Also with us today is the strategy and programming team, Robin Lopez and Stephanie Estrada. With us also is the Metro Construction Mitigation Programs team, Angela Winston, the Director of Business Interruption Funds and the BSC programs, and Leo Capelan, who is the Business Development Lead for Eat Shop Play. Next slide. This is what we're going to copy. This is what we're going to cover today, the D-Line extension, which is the westward extension of the subway from Wilshire Western. And we're going to look at section 1, 2, and 3. We're going to look at the Business Interruption Fund, and we're going to discuss Eat Shop Play. Next slide. I'm going to describe the D-Line here. You can see that we start from Wilshire Western. And for 9 miles, we add the subway to the Westwood VA Hospital. That's the western terminus of this extension. You can see we have a station in Beverly Hills and Beverly Drive, and we have the Wilshire La Cienega station, which is on the edge of both cities. Next slide. Here is the project schedule. The opening of section 1 is listed as winter 2026, which translates to early 26. I don't want to suggest we're going to open on Christmas 2026. The opening date for Section 2, those two stations, is spring 2027. And the anticipated opening date for Section 3, the Westwood UCLA and Westwood VA Hospital, is fall 2027. Next slide. Now I'm going to hand this over to Scott Donahue, who is the communications coordinator for SDS, and he's going to take us through section 1 of the D line. Take it away, Scott.
Thanks a lot, Ned, and good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying their lunch hour. I will be able to make my way through this presentation fairly quickly. It's a lot of updated pictures as we are getting very, very close to these stations opening. So without further ado, let's move on to La Brea. So here's a look at some of the landscaping and civil restoration that we have been working on. This median over here is by Wilshire and Detroit. This took probably a month or two to put together with the new trees planted in it. By now, those have bloomed quite a bit additionally. Let's see, next slide, please. Here's a look at the plaza level, just some of the landscape that's been installed, plus the actual entrance portal. Next slide, please. So slightly closer look, this would be the main entryway into the La Brea station. Next slide, please. The picture on your right, that'll be approximate timing of when the trains will be arriving. Once the station is up and running and trains are moving, you'll see this with an actual number of minutes next to it. Next slide, please. Here's just a quick look. There's an area that I blocked out that shows some artwork that's not quite visible to the public yet. So please pardon that for the moment, but once the station's open, you'll be able to see it for yourself, in fact. Next slide, please. Here's a look down on the concourse level. I want to point out on the left that there are vending stalls for tickets that have been installed, just to get an idea of how close we are to getting this done. Next slide, please. Here's a look from the platform level, just at each of the train tracks. This is essentially where you will be entering the trains as they come through. Next slide, please. So moving on to Fairfax, we'll focus on the surface for the time being. Basically, all of our stations look identical, save for some dimensions plus some of the artwork. But I want to use this section to note that there are some, there's still some surface work that we have to do. I want to note that even if it looks like there's still construction crews on the surface around Wilshire Fairfax or Wilshire La Brea, that does not mean that the stations will not be functional on time. Next slide, please. Here's a look at the entrance portal. Next slide, please. Another look at the entrance portal and the main sign. I want to note the location of the Wilshire Fairfax station on Orange Grove. Right across the street is LACMA, and then of course on the other side is the Peterson Museum. Next slide, please. Just another look at the entryway plaza. These elevator doors will actually take you down to the concourse level, where you can pick up tickets, refresh your Metro Pass, etc. Next slide, please. All right. So Wilshire La Cienega, we do actually have some large scale work going on the surface. I do want to note again, though, as with La Brea and Fairfax, just because there's still work on the surface does not mean that the trains will not be functional underground. Next slide, please. So at the moment, back in December, just before Christmas, we installed a center lane work zone on Wilshire Boulevard, basically between Gale and San Vicente. We'll be working on that at least through, I would say, about February of this year, so another 6 to 8 weeks, give or take. Basically, what we're doing is we're building up a median, which you'll actually be able to see in some pictures coming up. And then following that, in the latter part of the winter / early spring, we'll be moving all the way to the west over by Wilshire Stanley, well past the Wilshire La Cienega intersection, to do some basically civil restoration. We'll have to restore some bus pads and everything. We'll have a lot more details on that in our regular monthly La Cienega meeting. as well as with future construction notices. Next slide, please. So here's just a quick look. Basically, this will be in place approximately 3 months. We're about a month into that, I would say. Wilshire is reduced to 2 lanes in each direction, with occasional bump outs being utilized in an eastbound or westbound way. Additionally, we do occasionally impact northbound La Cienega, just to assist in some of the additional work that we have going on there. It's not related to the median work, but it's still related to our work on the surface. Next slide, please. So here's a look at the work. The picture on the left is the existing median as you are traveling, I guess, eastbound along Wilshire across San Vicente Boulevard. That is essentially what they're building on the south, or sorry, on the, I guess, where it's a little bit diagonal, so it's the directions are a little bit tricky on that one, but basically the west side of that intersection. And you can see that in the picture that I have on the right. Next slide, please. Here's a look at some of the additional work. We have concrete trucks coming in to pour the median. In a couple of weeks, we'll probably start seeing some landscaping as well. Next slide, please. So while we're impacting the surface with our median work, we do maintain our replacement parking along Wilshire Boulevard at 8447 Wilshire and 8350. As with past iterations of this, mention Metro upon entering the building and you will receive your first hour of parking for free. Next slide, please. Here's a look at our station progress. This is a generator building that's on the north side of the entrance portal and plaza. This is here in case there's ever an interruption to electrical service servicing the Purple Line stations. Next slide, please. Here's just a look at kind of what our surroundings are. You have the John Wayne building sort of in the background on that picture on the left. And then the picture on the right, you have the elevators that'll take you down to the concourse level. Next slide, please. Again, I had to black out a lot of the artwork because a lot of it is not up for public consumption at the moment. Next slide, please. Same thing here. We're now making our way from the concourse level down to the actual platform level. Next slide. Or I'm sorry, concourse level. My bad. I got one ahead. Next slide, please. Again, these elevators take you down to the platform level, and then the escalator that you see on the picture on the right, as well as the stairwell, will take you down to the platform level. Next slide. Here's a look at the platform level. Next slide. So when La Cienega, La Brea, and Fairfax open, the new terminus will be, the new westernmost terminus will be the La Cienega station, and then, of course, the main terminus will remain at Union Station. Next slide, please. Here's just another look at the platform with the security office. Next slide. I did want to note that there are a couple of benches. Those who want to take a load off after a long walk can certainly sit as they wait for their trains. Next slide. Here's just another look at the signs and the surrounding area. Next slide, please. All right. So instrumentation and punch list work. I've chosen to update this just as a kind of a catch-all for some of the work that we have going on. We are still removing instrumentation, so this is still an operational slide, but I want to note a couple of things in our punch list work. These are more or less city-directed activities for like the post-cleanup, making sure that certain areas are cleaned up and up to the standards of the city of Beverly Hills. In that note, actually, we are currently setting up a work zone this weekend that will impact southbound La Cienega right at Wilshire Boulevard. I think it'll be in place for about 2 weeks on an intermittent basis. But basically, we're going to be repairing a series of bus pads along southbound La Cienega Boulevard. So stand by for that. That'll be in place for 2 to 3 weeks, I believe, at most. But we'll have additional updates on this through like construction notices and for a monthly look ahead. I am not seeing anything about, or at least anything that I can directly answer for section 1. So I'm going to hand it off to Ross, who's going to tell you all about section 2. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, my name is Ross Pelser, and I'm the Project Information Coordinator representing Tutor Perini, also known as TPOG. And I'd like to talk about Section 2 today of the Purple D-Line extension. Move on to the next slide, please. So this is going to be a rendering of what the whole station is going to look like once it's completed over on Beverly Drive. As you can see, we're looking down at both the elevators, the escalators, and the stairway leading down to the concourse level of the station. And on the right, that'll be the elevators leading down to the same exact level of the concourse. And then this slide here is just going to be a general overview of where the station is going to be laid out with in comparison to a map, where you can see in the center of the Beverly Drive station in white. And then in the blue, where it's the blue boxes are actually what we were just looking at in the rendering in the previous slide of both the entryway, the ingress and egress for the elevator slash escalators, and then the stairway. And then the top left one, the elevators, as we were previously looking at before. In pink, that's going to be the staging areas and work areas set up for the construction of all this. And the yellow is actually going to be the whole station entrance plaza. And then this slide right here is just kind of a breakdown of what the structure will be for these stations. As you can see, we have the concourse level that's supported by both the interior walls and the invert slab, and the exterior walls on the outside with the concave roof on top. Now, to get into a little bit more what the station appendage work is going to be, multiple appendages will be required for each station or purple line extension, and appendages can house rooms such as emergency exits, utility rooms, ventilation rooms, entrance and exit structures, which basically are all vital rooms and functions needed to make the station work properly. Okay. And now we're going to get into a couple photos of the Beverly Drive station. This one is actually the escalators that are under construction that are going from the concourse level at the top down to the platform level. So from this view, we're standing at the platform and we're looking up towards the concourse, as well as the stairwell to accompany it as well. Now, this is going to be station platform and track construction. From these photos, we're going to be standing on the platform looking west. And as you can also see kind of too, there's the little wayfinding system that we're exactly standing on top of. Once the station platform is complete, that'll be drawn a different color as well as a signifier that you're standing right next to the railroad track, and just to help the visually impaired, just note the difference between where they're standing at in the station platform level. Now, this is some more photos looking from the station platform level, but instead of looking west, we're going to be looking east. The one on the left is once again me standing on that wayfinding system. And then the photo on the right is just a little bit screwed over on the right of that platform, looking up at that escalator and elevator that connects both the station platform and the concourse level. Now, this is a room that you'll probably never get to see except for in this presentation, but just a basic water and utility control room. Basically, all this is going to control the functions for when it comes to like emergency water services or anything else involving that. This will be the main utility room that controls all those vital functions for the station. Now, I just want to give a couple updates on work. On Friday, January 2nd, 2026, crews resumed regular construction activities for the Beverly Drive station along Wilshire Boulevard following the holiday moratorium. Work in early 2026 will focus on several major milestones and move the station closer to completion. This includes underground station construction on South Jeeves Drive Station, entrance plaza portal, and structural construction, Bull Street and sidewalk restoration along Wilshire Boulevard, and finalizing appendage construction for the remaining structures that is anticipated to be completed by March 2026. Crews will also begin removing the sound wall located along North Cannon Drive, as well as restoring the local sidewalk and area adjacent to that. And the construction staging yard, what they're and the construction staging yard where this work is set to be complete by March 2026. Speaking of the North Cannon sound wall removal, the work for that began on Monday, January 12th. The contractor began removing this North Cannon Drive sound wall, and sound wall removal will take place on the junction where North Cannon Drive and Wilshire Boulevard are adjacent, which is also right next to the staging yard. Additional sound wall removal will occur in the alley between North Crescent Drive and North Cannon Drive. Work activities will be coordinated to maintain access to the adjacent businesses. As I stated, this work started on January 12th, the removal of the sound wall, and anticipated duration is approximately 6 weeks, with the work hours being Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then 8:15 p.m. to 7 a.m. And some of the major traffic controls go along with it. Access to the alley from Wilshire Boulevard between North Crescent Drive and North Cannon will be restricted during work activity, but access to the alley will be maintained via Clifton Way. And then access to the alley between North Cannon Drive and Beverly Drive will be maintained during work activity. North Cannon Drive will remain open with a shifted cul-de-sac, and on-street parking will be restricted during some work activity, but those parking spaces that will be restricted will have proper signage and notify in advance. And pedestrian access will be maintained during work activity with temporary detours and signage in place as need be for the construction. To correlate with the sound wall removal, we're also doing sidewalk and street restoration. Starting in January, the contractor will implement a full closure of the north sidewalk on Wilshire Boulevard from North Crescent Drive to the AKA Alley to perform this sidewalk and street restoration work. Pedestrian detours will be implemented, directing pedestrians use the crosswalks at South Cannon Drive and Crescent Drive, and street and sidewalk restoration work will be ongoing and conducted in phases along both sides of Wilshire Boulevard. So they will not overlap at the same time. Only certain sections will be closed when it comes to work activities. Access to the entrance of the AKA commercial property on Wilshire Boulevard, west of Crescent Drive, will be maintained when possible. And when will this start? The sidewalk and street restorations will be anticipated to start in January, or it started in January on the 9th of this month, with the work hours being from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and 8:15 p.m. to 7 a.m. And some of the major traffic controls along with that is that the north sidewalk from North Crescent Drive to North Cannon Drive will be restricted during work activity, and pedestrians will be directed to use detours at the crosswalks at South Cannon Drive and Crescent. And then Wilshire Boulevard will be reduced to 2 lanes in each direction from Crescent Drive to Beverly Drive during work activity, as well as portions of the southbound sidewalk from South Cannon Drive to South Reeves Drive and from South Beverly Drive to South Reeves Drive will be restricted during the same work activity. Building and driveway access along Wilshire Boulevard will be maintained during it, though. Some more work I'd like to talk about is this cross-passage work activity. Concrete placement and sewer installation work for tunnel construction continues during the day and night at Cross Passage 27, which is between North Williman Drive and North Carson Road. And sewer installation work activity will be taking place at Cross Passage 36, which is between North Roxbury Drive and North Linden Drive. The work hours for this concrete placement and sewer installation for CP 2736 will be Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. through 4 p.m. and 8:15 p.m. through 7 a.m. And some of the major traffic controls will be that Wilshire Boulevard will be reduced to 2 lanes in each direction Monday through Friday during the previously stated work hours. And alley access at Wilshire Boulevard or Roxor Drive may be restricted during certain work activities. There's some more updates for the Beverly Drive station construction. K-rail enclosures have been placed along the northern and southern curb lanes on Wilshire Boulevard to support all this ongoing station construction and facilitate the appendage and sidewalk construction as well. 2 lanes in each direction will be maintained along Wilshire Boulevard between Beverly Drive and Crescent Drive during peak work hours, and left turns will be restricted from westbound Wilshire Boulevard to South Cannon Drive. And then also too, there's been ongoing geotechnical instrumentation removal. This has been going on for a while, but the contractor will continue decommissioning instruments along this tunnel alignment that are no longer needed. And this work has resumed following the holiday moratorium this January 2026. And basically, these instruments were used to measure, to monitor ground movement, settlement, other geological conditions while critical work is being done to build the tunnels underground. But now that we have most of this structure established, these instrumentations will be removed periodically throughout the work. With the work hours for that being Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. when it is needed. Now we're going to be moving along to Century City Station. Once again, we have a rendering of what that'll look like above ground, with kind of an aerial access looking to where that main entryway will be with the ingress and egress down to the station. And then an overview of the Century City Station box. As you can see, most of the work or all the work is going to be taking place along Constellation Boulevard, starting at Century Park East and a little bit past Avenue of Stars. All the work for both appendages and the station will be conducted along this general area for this part of this project. And then just some station construction progress updates. Placement of the structural concrete for the station has been completed, and construction of the interior and above roof structures will be ongoing through 2026 underground beneath Constellation Boulevard. Work continues to take place to facilitate construction of the station underground 24 hours a day, Monday through Saturday. And then this photo on the right is just kind of the track level crossover looking east of said construction. And then just another update photo of the construction. This is what the under the Century City Station entrance stairway will look like. This is very early on in it, so there will be more to flush it out and make it fully established, but this is just an up-to-date progress photo. And then another progress photo of the track looking west. Once again, still very early on in the stages, but just seeing that things are coming along here. And then another photo of the platform looking west. But this time we are going to be standing on the actual platform, looking towards the concourse level with that stairwell that is going to be connecting it along in the future. And then now we're going to be on the concourse level looking east. Once again, a lot of the basic structures is being put into place, but progress is coming along. And now this is going to be a couple photos of the station, Constellation Station roof progress. As stated many times before, in this, or at least in my part of this presentation, a lot of structures being set, and we're still very early on, but things are going along well. Now here's just going to be some upcoming stage 10 current work with the station construction and backfill activities. This anticipated duration with the beginning of deck removal will be beginning in March 2026. Now, this work will be taking place 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But what to expect from it is nighttime intermediate closures to complete station backfill and appendage construction, with the major traffic controls being Avenue of Stars has been restored to 2 lanes in both the north and south directions with a dedicated left turn lane. And we will be having nightly closures, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., that may be required intermittently to facilitate work activity throughout all this. And some more current work update, the LADWP permanent power installation, traffic control in Century Park East and Constellation Boulevard required to support LADWP for the installation of the permanent power infrastructure for the future Century City Station. Traffic control will continue to be implemented during non-peak hours, both day and night, with this duration ongoing to 2026, with work hours being 9 a.m. through 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. through 6 a.m. And the major traffic controls for this being that the northbound Century Park East number 1 and number 2 lanes will be restricted during work activity. The left turn lane onto Century Park East will be closed, and the southbound Century Park East lane number 2 and right turn lane at Constellation Boulevard will be closed. Westbound Constellation Boulevard lane west of Century Park East will be restricted also during this work activity. Now, these next 3 photos are just going to be shown at different phases when it comes to the work that's going to be doing along Constellation Boulevard for the Century City Station. And more than anything, I just want to point out that during each phase, what the restricted areas would be. So phase 1 is anticipated to start March 2026. And you can see at the top right there that the Watt Plaza Alley access will be restricted during this time, but Century Park Tower driveway access will be maintained as well as the other parts of Constellation Boulevard. This is phase 2. Once again, though, Watt Plaza Watt Plaza Alley will be restricted, but then this will also affect the Century Park Tower driveway access, which will be restricted along at the same time. And stage two will begin immediately following phase one, so there's no specific start date for that just yet. And then moving on to stage three, a lot more access ways will be restricted, or if access will be restricted during this time. As you can see, Watt Plaza driveway will be maintained others from Century Park East only. And then the Century Park Tower driveway will be maintained from Century Park East only as well. But now we're crossing over into Avenue Stars, where the intersection will be restricted, as well as the Fairmount Century Plaza Hotel driveway access and access to the 19998 Avenue Stars driveway off Constellation will be restricted. And then now it's going to be bleeding over more to the Westfield Center City driveway access to be coordinated. Once again, stage two will begin immediately following, or stage three will begin immediately following stage two. So we do not have a specific date for that just yet. And then the last one will be stage four. This one will have the access to the 199 Avenue Stars driveway off Constellation with restricted, and the Fairmount Century Plaza Highway Hotel driveway will also be restricted during this one time. And once again, stage four immediately going to start after stage three. So once we get close to a date, there will be more dates announced for it, as well as for all these stages I mentioned, proper outreach to local impacted businesses and stuff. And lastly, I'll end on just kind of an overview of what all the different appendage work is going to look like and side structure for this Avenue Stars, which we kind of went through of all these previous phases of all of these appendages being highlighted in yellow on this map below. But the start date initially began in February 2024. Anticipated duration with the work will continue to take place following the deck removal, and the major traffic control being within current traffic stages and incorporative closures for deck removal. Additional traffic phasing will be implemented after the deck removal to continue work on the remaining structures. And the major construction activity happening for this is going to be potholing, piling, excavation, and concrete placement. I would now like to pass it off over to Ned to begin us on section three for this. Thank you guys for your time today.
This is one of our high altitude shots about what the Westwood UCLA station box would look like. Or this is its footprint, 902 feet long. One reason that it's so complex and takes so long to build. You'll notice that it runs between Veteran Avenue, the work area does, and Westwood Boulevard. Next slide. Here is a view of the northwest entrance. The UCLA station has three entrances. The main entrance, which is around Gailey, Wilshire Gailey, and the northeast entrance, which is on Westwood Boulevard and Wilshire, and the southeast entrance, which is on Wilshire Boulevard and Westwood. Next slide. Here is the northeast entrance. Work has begun. This former bank building has been demolished. If you drive by there now, you'll notice that there is a construction area there, which is building the connection with the stations. Again, three stations for the Westwood UCLA station, which it shows how much traffic that station will have, how many boardings it will have in a day. That's how Metro measures it, how many boardings it will have in a day. Next slide. Here is an example of what it looks like now. Next slide. Here is what the southeast entrance will look like. To your left is Westwood Boulevard, and in front of this building is Westwood. And you'll see this is a smaller entrance, but an entrance nevertheless. Next slide. Here is a view which puts the main opening in perspective. We're looking east on Wilshire toward Westwood Boulevard. If you drive by this, you'll notice that there is an extensive yard where they are working on the roof and things inside the station, but this is what the finished station will look like, the main entrance. Here is looking northwest. So we're looking at Westwood Boulevard north, and Wilshire is to our left and crosses from left to right. Next slide. One of the major tasks we're doing now is pouring the exterior walls of the main station box. We're also pouring intermediate walls in the box. Something that the public sees is we're moving the temporary decking removal, which runs from basically Gailey to Westwood. Those are being removed. And that is a major milestone for the project because that means the roof has been poured. The curved roof of the station has been poured, which means you can now add dirt between the station roof and the surface of Wilshire, which means you don't need all of those H-beams and those heavy concrete panels in place so the cars can drive over them. Pretty soon they'll be able to drive on the road surface. Lot 36 adjoins our construction yard, and you can see the hours for construction. Next slide. So this is another update. As I've noted before, the main station roof pour was completed in December. That is a really big deal. And in the next couple months, they're going to start doing the pile installation for the northeast entrance, second quarter 2026. If I had to guess, I would say that's in February when work is going to become intensive for that entrance on Wilshire and Westwood, the southeast entrance. Next. Here is an update on the station itself. They have started to work on appendages. We'll see a slide later, which shows concrete pouring on an appendage. An appendage is things that connect to the station, but it's not strictly the station itself. That can be emergency exits. It can be blast relief shafts, things like that. Next slide. Here is one photo that shows how extensive it is to remove that decking. Here you can see we're looking at Westwood and Wilshire. They have to remove all that steel, those heavy deck panels, and then they have to bring in a tremendous amount of soil to fill the gap between the new station roof and the surface of Wilshire Boulevard. It's about, depending on the station, 15 to 18 feet of soil that has to be placed there. Next slide. And here is a good example of that steel having to be removed. The steel ran the entire width of Wilshire Boulevard. Since Wilshire is so heavily traveled, they anticipated there was going to be a lot of traffic on that. So there's a tremendous amount of steel that formed the new surface and is now no longer needed. Next slide. Here is a photograph that shows the work at night. As you probably know, if you follow our construction notices, generally the weekend of work starts at 11 p.m. on Friday night and concludes usually before 6 a.m. on Monday. And this is some of the night work that they use. The reason why the weekend is valuable is because that means they don't have to keep putting up and taking down traffic control. They can run the whole weekend before they put it back up on Monday morning. Next slide. And here is another sign of progress. This is the UCLA station. You can see the roof is up. You can see that they're working on the platform. You can see the architectural finishes on the left and the right. You'll see the man lift on the right. That's basically what they're doing is they're finishing the architectural finishes. And on the left and the right is where the trains are going to run into the UCLA station. Next slide. And here we just want to delineate what we're doing. The main station box backfill continues, we believe, through late 2026. And here is a more specific description of the decking removal. We update the construction notice to describe decking removal. We also included in our Friday email, another reason why you might want to get on a mailing list. We update the dates for each weekend of work. Next slide. Here is a northeast entrance with that, which I've talked about. That's going to continue through the winter 2026, early 2026. And southbound will also continue at that time. And you'll notice during this work, Wilshire Boulevard will be reduced from 4 lanes to 2 lanes between Lynbrook and Wilshire. And that note on the bottom is significant. Construction is dynamic, and the subject is subject to change, which is why we update the outreach information every week. So you can write Metro, Metro D-Line, metro.net, and ask us that question, or you can look on our website where the current construction notices are posted. Next slide. And here again, we're talking about decking insulation for the southeast entrance construction. Obviously, the entrance has to go all the way down to the station, which is generally 80 feet below Wilshire. So that takes some amount of time to drill down there and make that connection. And we believe that the correct construction of the southeast entrance will continue through the second half of 2026. Next slide. As decking removal continues, we have various traffic control plans. Here is a map showing the detours when we're removing decking during the weekend. This presentation will also be available after this meeting, so you can go on the presentation and see what the traffic flow is and ask us questions about that. Next slide. Here is the outreach we've been doing to notify people. These are the tools that we use to keep people updated about our progress on the construction of Section 3. And of course, there is our hotline number and our email number where you can call us for information. Next slide. And now we'll transfer to the Westwood VA Hospital Station rendering, which of course is west of the Westwood VA station. Here you can see the main entrance. We're looking at Bonsall. To the north is the VA hospital campus. Next slide. Here's another view of that. And you can see that a new mural is going up there. Here are the elevators that will take you down from the surface down to the Westwood VA Hospital Station. You can see the hospital in the background. There will be escalators and elevators, by the way. This station is a little bit longer than UCLA because it has cross-track at the west end, which allows the trains to turn from one tunnel to the other. We have that in the Los Angeles station as well. We have them in each station that forms the terminus of a section. And I'd remind you that funding for the D-line came at different times. That's why it was not one big section. When we were heavily into construction of Section 1, we didn't know when the funding of Section 2 was going to happen, and the same with Section 3. Next slide. Here's another example of progress. So this is another appendage. So this is the emergency exit, which goes from the platform level of the station all the way to the surface. And they're pouring concrete. To finish this, there are emergency exits in each direction in each station, and the roof is hydraulically operated, so a person or group of people wanting to leave the station and exit the emergency exit and reach the surface do not have to be the Hulk. You only have to pull I think you have to yank a lever and the hydraulics will open for you. Next slide. Here's ongoing waterline work to connect to the VA station. This has taken quite some time because there's a variety of organizations involved with this, the county, the state, the city. They're just about done, 99% done with the connection of the permanent water service to the VA station. Next slide. And this is the ongoing work for those last stages. Next slide. And this is indicated that the permanent wall will be replaced. I don't have an exact date for that, but Metro has committed to replacing that. And you know that the previous mural had to be replaced to allow construction of the Bonsall station and its supplementary equipment. Next slide. And this is the work that's ongoing. That's where the new mosaic wall will be. You can see Wilshire Boulevard runs there. Thank you. This is the parking lot where we are building a parking structure for the VA to allow for the parking area we had to take to build the Westwood VA station. Next slide. And here is a photograph that shows the progress of the tunnels near the Westwood VA hospital station. So you can see there is lighting in there. You can see how the station was constructed if you see those rings. Every 6 tunnel segments constitutes a ring. So you can see also that the tunnels curve. The tunnels are not straight, they curve. The permanent rail has not been added, but you can see the walkway on the right, which runs along the stations. And now I'm going to hand it over to Angela for the Business Interruption Fund.
Thank you so much, Ned. And hello and good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to give a brief update on one of Metro's construction mitigation programs, the BIF. Next slide. Currently, the BIF is providing financial assistance to small mom and pop businesses on all 3 sections of the D line, as well as the East San Fernando Valley Light Rail Transit Project. In the past, eligible projects for the BIF included the Crenshaw LAX line, which is now the K line. That eligibility ended when that line opened in December 2023, and also the Little Tokyo area of the Regional Connector Project, and the 2nd and Broadway segment of the Regional Connector Project, which is also open at this time. As a reminder, the BIF eligibility requirements: businesses must be located immediately adjacent to the rail corridor for at least 2 years, have 25 or fewer full-time employees, and other eligibility requirements as applicable, and that's really depending on the nature of the business. Grant amounts are determined by revenue loss directly related to the period of Metro construction disruption, with a maximum of $60,000 per impact year. And of course, you can get more information on the eligibility requirements on our website at metro.net/BIF. Next slide. Currently, we are celebrating our $50 million milestone of the BIF program, and that's since inception in 2015. Program-wide, you can see we've awarded over $51.5 million. You can see how it breaks down D-Line 1, 2, and 3, as well as the East San Fernando Valley project, which actually we're celebrating over $1 million on East San Fernando Valley that was awarded within 6 months. And then we've got Second and Broadway, Little Tokyo, and the K Line, all a part of that $51.5 million. You can also see the number of businesses there, over 500 businesses throughout this entire program. And over 1,900 grants have been awarded, keeping in mind that businesses can get repeat grants for different periods of construction impact. Next slide. I wanted to point out here the total amount awarded just in Beverly Hills alone, which includes the Wilshire La Cienega Station, Wilshire La Cienega West, which is Wilshire La Cienega, between Wilshire La Cienega and Wilshire Robertson, and the Beverly Drive Station. That $11.3 million is about half, or a little over half, of the total amount awarded in D-line, which you can see there is about 22.4 million, 713 grants, and that's D-line sections 1, 2, and 3. Beverly Hills alone, that over 11.3 million, which is a little over half, and then the number of grants just under half. And I want to just note that primarily that's because right there at Wilshire La Cienega, there's one huge business building, Salon Republic, which I think holds about 100 stylists, and that building alone, all of those stylists were eligible for the BIF. So we take into account all of that, as well as, as the Beverly Drive Station. Again, that area has a lot of larger businesses. So this program is specifically for those small mom and pops. Next slide. Here's our contact information. Our BIF Fund Administrator is Pacific Coast Regional Corporation. Brian Miyamoto is the Vice President and Program Manager. You can see his email address, phone number. You can also go online on their website to get more information about the BIF as well as apply. And of course, you can always contact me. My information is right there. And I encourage you to visit our website, metro.net/BIF. We have done a few changes to it, so hopefully it'll make it easier to navigate. So do visit us. That concludes my presentation. I'd like to pass it off now to Leo for updates on Eat Shop Play. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a great lunch and Happy New Year. Eat Shop Play is a construction mitigation program designed to support local businesses, provide marketing assistance on key Los Angeles boulevards, and Metro expands public transportation throughout Los Angeles County. Once you're enrolled, you're eligible for a number of different benefits. Primarily, we are holding our Accelerate workshops that provide you with different business skills. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the presentation. Also, along with Accelerate, you're eligible for free one-on-one coaching sessions as well. Next slide, please. So, as I was talking about Accelerate, those are free business website seminars. We're focusing right now on Google Analytics. That workshop will be coming up January 30th on Friday, starting from 9 o'clock until 9:45. We want to be cognizant of your time, and we know it's very valuable and that you're busy running your business. So we're playing around with various times. Hopefully Friday works well for most of you on the call, and we'll get started early at 9 a.m. Spanish translation is available as well during that workshop. Next slide, please. So I wanted to highlight one of our enrolled businesses, Gourmando LA. It's a new Mexican restaurant, farm to table restaurant in Beverly Hills, located at 107 Robertson Boulevard. Some delicious food. You can see the hours of operation there, open from Tuesday through Sunday, and also contact information there as well if you want to call and make reservations. And so next slide, please. Upcoming meetings for the D-Line subway extension are located here on the screen. There's contact information there if you need to make any phone calls or have any additional questions, along with email information as well, website information as well. We're eligible on Facebook and that concludes my portion of the presentation. I'll hand it back to Robin.
Thank you so much, Leo, and thank you to all of our panelists for presenting today. We did have a lot of great information regarding some of our programs, as well as all updates for all three sections with the D-Line Subway Extension project. I know Leo touched base on some stuff that was here on this slide. I'll go over it briefly once again. So this is how you can stay in touch with us. We will be having our next upcoming meeting next month on February 11th, once again at 12 at noon. This meeting will only be for our D-Line sections 1 and 2 Beverly Hills stations. So we will be covering information for those sections, specifically Beverly Hills stations. The link webinar and all the information is updated on the screen, and it is also on our project website. And there's additional ways that you can stay in touch with us. We do have our project hotline number, 213-922-6934. Our Metro email address is metrodline@metro.net. If there were any questions that the team did not get to answer, please submit those questions to metrodline@metro.net, and someone from our project team will get back to you with a response and an answer. And once again, our project website is metro.net/dline. And if you wanted to join our Facebook group, it is facebook.com/groups/Metro Westside. We will be wrapping up right now. Once again, thank you everyone for joining, and we hope to see you at our next meeting. Thanks everyone. Have a great afternoon.